In today's video, I'm going to cover a different type of dash camera for your vehicle. This is a 4G LTE 24-hour security dash cam by Lamtto. Unlike most cameras that only work while you're driving or require you to access events via an SD card, this camera uses 4G LTE cell service to allow you to access the camera from anywhere, anytime, just like a home security system. Lamtto was kind enough to supply the product for this video. This is a wonderful piece of tech suitable for safety-conscious car owners who love their cars, frequent flyers that must leave their vehicles parked for extended periods at airport garages, people who must use city parking garages, rideshare drivers, taxi companies, or even logistic fleets. The dash cam features 24-hour surveillance with AI human detection and microwave radar. It also provides you with a remote live view, live GPS vehicle location, event video alarm, two-way voice communication, OBD plug-in power supply for easy installation, HD night vision, a 30-day money-back guarantee, a lifetime warranty, and 24/7 customer support. The camera comes with a pre-installed SIM card, which allows you to purchase data packages, or you can use your own 4G SIM card from your preferred cell phone provider. The camera's SIM card comes with a 7-day free trial. There are two ways to store your videos. One is to store them on the supplied SD card, or you can purchase cloud storage backup packages. The cloud storage option is a perfect backup in case the camera becomes damaged or stolen. Finally, if you don't like having an active data plan or cloud storage, the camera can be used like a traditional dash cam by manually accessing the video while in close proximity to the camera via the installed SD card. With all these options available, you're given the ultimate flexibility on how you want to protect your car. The installation process for this camera is very simple. I will demonstrate the process on my daughter's 2024 Hyundai Elantra. Begin by cleaning off the area you want to install the camera with alcohol. In my case, I decided to install the camera on the plastic housing behind the rearview mirror. Attach the supplied 3M tape mount to the top of the camera. The mount slides onto the camera and snaps into place. Peel off the 3M tape plastic cover. Lightly place the camera where you want to mount it. This will allow you to pull the camera back off if you don't have it in the exact spot you want to mount it. Make sure to check the camera's position by looking at it from the outside of the car. When you're satisfied with the position, push the camera firmly into place. With the camera mounted, you'll need to run the power cord from the camera to your vehicle's OBD2 port. For the Elantra, I began by removing part of the driver's side door rubber seal. This can be done by pulling the seal away from the vehicle with your hand. Next, I used a plastic trim tool to pop the driver's side A-pillar. The A-pillar does not need to be removed. Since you are working around an airbag, it is recommended to unhook power from the vehicle's battery. Take the USB-C end of the camera's power cable and run it under the A-pillar's airbag. This will help ensure the wire doesn't affect the airbag's function. Run enough wire from the airbag to the camera. I used my trim tool to pop off the center section of the plastic housing behind the rearview mirror. Put the trim tool at the top of the center section and pull towards you. The plastic rectangular piece will pop right off. This will allow you to hide the wire inside the plastic housing. Plug the power wire into the camera. Now you can adjust your power wire length as you hide the wire in the headliner using a trim tool as you work your way back towards the A-pillar. After the wire has been tucked into the headliner, you can push the A-pillar back into place. Run the power wire down the driver's side inside area that is covered by the door seal. When you get to the kick panel, begin routing the wire into the kick panel. Go ahead and reinstall the rubber door seal as you run the wire to the kick panel. Plug in the OBD2 plug, but make sure the plug has been set up correctly. The plug has settings for fuel and electric vehicles. Since the vehicle I was installing the camera in was a typical fuel vehicle, I set the voltage to 12 volts and fuel vehicle. After you've checked the plug's settings, plug it into the OBD2 port. To hide the remaining wires, you'll need to remove the kick panel cover. To do this, take your trim tool and pop the hood release lever away from the cover. Remove the lower section of the door's rubber seal. Pop up the scuff plate with a trim tool. Using your hand or trim tool, pull the kick panel towards you, then towards the inside of the car. Now that the kick panel has been removed, you'll want to bundle the excess wire up neatly and zip tie the wire to the factory wires. I ended up using 2 zip ties. After the wires have been zip tied, you can reinstall the kick panel, scuff plate, hood release, and door seal. This completes the camera installation process. I think the installation went very smoothly and took very little time to do. I was able to position the camera directly under the factory safety feature camera, which resulted in a clean installation. Now let's move on to installing the camera's app and then go over the app's features and how to use them. Download the app by scanning the QR code on the front of the instructions. The camera app is available for use on Android or Apple phones. After the app has been downloaded, a notification box will pop up requesting access to your location while using the U-Box app. You have the option to select Allow, or you can select Settings and click Location Sharing Preferences. After you've selected your location sharing preferences, you'll be prompted to set up your login information for using the app. First, select your country. Next, click on Register Now under the Sign In button. Enter your user ID, which will be your email address. Check the User Agreement Acknowledgement box under the Next button. Once checked, click Next. Now you can enter the password that you'd like to use. You'll enter the password twice. After entering the password, you'll need to type the verification code that you'll see in a white box. This is verifying that you are human and not a bot. Finally, click Sign Up. After the setup process has been completed, you'll receive an email asking you to verify your email address by clicking on a link inside the email. Once you've verified your email address, you can go back to the app and sign in. Upon signing in the first time, the app will ask to allow to send you notifications and locate Bluetooth devices. After you've accepted the request, the app will walk you through a brief tutorial of what the different icons do in the app. To add the camera to your account, click on Add Device on the app's home screen. The app will ask you to power on the camera by clicking on the camera's power button. After the power has been turned on, click Next in the app. There's a light strip on the side of the camera. Check the lights and wait for them to turn from red to blue. The blue light indicates the camera is ready to pair. The app will show the available devices found via Bluetooth. Click Add Device. If you wish, you can also scan the QR code on the side of the camera to add it to the app. After the device has been found, the pairing process will begin. Once the camera has been successfully added, click OK. Now that we have the camera linked to the app, we can begin exploring all the options the app has to offer. You'll notice My Camera's display window states that there isn't an active data plan on the account. When you first purchase the camera, you'll receive a 7-day free trial for data usage. After the trial period has ended, you'll need to decide if you want to purchase data directly from the camera or from your own cell phone company. To purchase data from the camera, tap on the shopping cart icon labeled Purchase. If the data has expired, like in my example, you can also click on the video window. Either will take you to the Services page. From this page, you can purchase 4G data packages and/or cloud storage packages. The 4G data can be purchased as a 1-month to 24-month plan, either as a single purchase or subscription. Cloud storage can be purchased in 30, 180, or 360-day packages with either a 7 or 30-day window retention option. And, just like the 4G data packages, the cloud storage can be purchased either as a single purchase or as a subscription. Once you've found the plan that you want to purchase, click on the plan. Next, check the box on the bottom of the screen to accept the terms and conditions of the plan. Then, click on Activate button. You'll be directed to a payment screen to complete your purchase. Finally, after payment has been made, the camera will automatically be loaded with the data plan or storage option, which will be available to use immediately. If you want to check your data or cloud storage expiration date, click on the Purchase icon again, then in the upper right-hand corner, click on History. This will display all your past purchase histories with each plan's expiration date. So now we have the camera linked and our data plan activated. Let's start using our new vehicle security camera. At the bottom of the app, there are 4 icons. The first icon is labeled Device. Clicking on this icon acts as a home screen and will take you to your active camera screen, which is the screen that we're already on. The second icon, labeled Events, is where you can view all the recorded events that the camera has captured. At the top of the screen, there are arrows that allow you to change the date that you want to view. The third icon, labeled Support, lets you send issues to the 24/7 support team so they can help resolve any issues that may arise. Finally, the fourth icon, labeled Mine, will take you to your account screen. The Mine screen allows you to do a few things. At the top of the screen, you can purchase services. In the middle, you'll find the most common features, such as setting the device's location and fixing network issues. Looking at the lower half of the screen, you'll see that there is an account button that will display your account name and allow you to change your password. The Help Center button will take you to a Q&A page designed to help answer common questions regarding the camera and app. The Data and Permission button will provide you with information about how the app uses your information and shows what permissions you've allowed the app to use on your phone. The Common Settings are a short list of most common settings used by customers while using the app. Finally, the About button will allow you to read the user agreement and privacy policy. Click on the device icon at the bottom of the screen and let's look at the camera. When you click on the camera window, you will load into a live view of the front and rear camera. The front view is on the top and the rear view is on the bottom. While in live view, you can take a picture, record video, use the camera as a 1- or 2-way communication device, mute the camera's sound, or view events stored on the SD card or cloud storage. The event data can also be viewed in the Events section from the main screen when not in live view. If you wish to view the camera like a traditional dash cam or with a larger window, click on the box icon. This will switch the live view to a single window. Viewing the camera like this, you can enlarge the main image, switch the images by tapping on the smaller of the two images, or move the smaller image around the screen. Here's an example of viewing event video on the camera. The last item to cover is the full options menu. This menu must be accessed while in live view. While in live view, click on the blue gear icon located in the top right corner of the screen. There are several settings that you can change in this screen. The first button shows your camera's information. The second button allows you to set the camera's motion sensitivity, front and rear radar detection, and G-sensor sensitivity. I ended up lowering the camera's sensitivity because the camera kept going off over all the bumps that we have on our roads where I live. The third button is for cloud and SD card recording settings, such as the length of recording time. The fourth button allows you to set up how you want to receive notifications, and the fifth button is for video settings. The lower section has a button for turning on or off the camera's LED indicator light, general settings such as speed units and time settings, shareable options, firmware update, and a button allowing you to restart the device. When I clicked on the firmware update button, I found the camera did have an update available. I went ahead with performing the update. This process was very fast and only took a few minutes to complete. On to my final thoughts on this dash camera. I've been living with this dash cam for a few months now and I really like it. My daughter got a second job delivering food and this has been great for added security for her mom and myself. In case of an emergency, we can check her exact location, view a live feed of what is happening, and even speak to her directly through the camera. Not only is this a good system for us, but I feel it would be wonderful for anyone that has to leave their car somewhere they're unfamiliar with or in a place that they feel they need to monitor. The camera works exactly how our security camera works at home. So if you have a doorbell camera or security camera at your home, you will know exactly how this system works as well. If you're interested in protecting your car, click on the link in the video description to order your 4G LTE security dash cam today. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content.